am a holistic nutritionist and wellness coach, and one of my favorite all-time passions is helping families achieve optimal health using food as medicine techniques. I thought we would start by going over some healthy baking tips. And what better recipe to sort of mess with for this purpose is a good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie recipe. So today, Tommy and I put together one of our favorite recipes we do probably once a week. And I'm gonna walk you through some of my favorite ingredients that we use. Every single ingredient that I use when I cook or bake is functional to the body in some way, whether it's nutritional density, so vitamins and minerals, it could be fiber, it could be providing hydration, anti-inflammatory. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I believe food should still be able to taste amazing and healthy at the same time. So here we go with a chocolate chip cookie. I thought I would walk you through some substitutions that I use regularly for flour. We have not used white flour in our house for probably the last 10 years, with the exception of maybe some Christmas cookies, and even that, we're finding some really great substitutions that work. So I find that the best recipes come together using a combination of flours. So the first one, and I'm not really talking so much about brands here, but I just want to walk you through the basic flours that really work well in baking. Coconut flour is one of them. Coconut flour can definitely be very drying, so it helps to sometimes up the egg content or the oil content, especially whenever you're using coconut flour on its own in a recipe. But generally, I will combine that with one or two other flours. Same thing really with almond flour. So you can really take any nut. Almond is just one example. Any nut, grind it into a flour, and you've got a wonderful substitution there. So here we have almond flour, oat flour. I use a lot of gluten-free oat flour. I really like the texture. I like the way it comes out. I often mix that as well with other flours. My 5-year-old Tommy lately has not been eating almonds, so we're not doing the almond flour as much. And instead, we've opted to use sunflower. So this is just sunflower seeds ground up. Awesome. For this recipe of the chocolate chip cookies I'm gonna do today, I'm going to actually combine the gluten-free oat flour and the sunflower. And then if you're lazy, this is a little pricier, but it's so wonderful. This is just paleo flour, and this is already a combination of almond flour, coconut flour. It's got some arrowroot in there. Where's my arrowroot? That's right here. This is really great to use as a thickener as well. So just in small amounts, anytime a recipe calls for cornstarch, I'm not a big fan of corn-derived products, especially if they're not organic. So I will opt for arrowroot, really great in soups, but also great in baking. And the paleo flour just happens to have all of that. So these are some great options. There are certainly other flours. There's cassava flour, which I haven't used a whole lot. Even banana flour, lots of whole foods can be ground up using just one ingredient, which is so, so nice. So today for this recipe, we'll be doing oat and also sunflower. Remember, it's about upgrading the ingredients here. So the 4 ingredients that go in the dry bowl for the chocolate chip cookies are gonna be pure, about a ½ teaspoon plus a little extra of good pink Himalayan sea salt. I did baking powder, because we do baking powder anytime we use sunflower products, because if we use baking soda, it ends up turning green. There's a little chemical exchange that happens, and we don't want to have green chocolate chip cookies, right, Tommy? Right. So we went ahead and used baking powder. Tommy's really excited though to get to the sweeteners. So we're gonna put this aside for a minute. So I wanna walk you through 4 of my favorite sweeteners that we like to use in place of granulated white sugar. So the first is coconut palm sugar. This is a much less processed version of, this is really just a 1-to-1 ratio for sugar. Anytime you see in a recipe, you can use this. Body recognizes what it is. A little bit of a different effect there on blood sugar levels. We have here date syrup, and you can also just make date syrup. All it is dates and water. You can soak some dates overnight or for a few hours and you just puree them. Awesome, awesome in recipes. And Tommy, we like to use this just as maple syrup too with our pancakes sometimes. But if you want the real deal, number 3, good old-fashioned dark amber maple syrup. This is sort of what takes the place of what we would call grade B, which is really a less processed version of maple syrup. Many people don't know that, but it's really hard to find them in the stores because they kind of revamped the marketing on that one, and now it's just called like dark amber maple syrup. Best bet is to try to get this local. This is from a local farmer's market, and it's in such a pretty glass. And then finally, whole food fruits. So just like dates, bananas, mashed bananas can also take the place of a sweetener. You can combine maybe 2 out of these 4 ingredients, which are great too. And in this recipe, it's going to be about a 1/2 cup of the sweetener. Just interchangeably, I find all of these work just fine. Moving on to the oils, this is a 1/2 cup of, or a stick rather, of grass-fed butter. Very different situation when you have something that's grass-fed versus grain-fed. Animals are not supposed to eat grains, and then they get sick, they give them antibiotics, and then guess who's ingesting all that? Aside from that, there's actually really great compounds found in grass-fed products, eggs as well as butter, even obviously red meats, you'll see the word grass-fed. A compound called CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, which is really great for belly fat, right? Who knew? So lots of benefits from here. It's not only not good for you, but it's actually food as medicine. So in here, I have about a 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and then other oils that you can use in place of butter. If you want to go all vegan, you can certainly just do coconut oil in place of the butter if you wanted. This is a melted version of coconut oil. Coconut oil is a medium chain fat. So many benefits there. There's blog posts that I've written that all talk about coconut oil, how great it is. Also ghee. Ghee is used, gosh, for centuries in India, really popular in Ayurvedic cooking. This is the ghee that I put in my coffee every morning, also good to bake with. And then anytime a recipe asks for vegetable oil, avocado oil is one of my favorites because it's got a really high smoke point, which means that the fats and the oils don't get damaged like they would in, say, an olive oil. So any of these are totally interchangeable for this type of recipe. So today we are going to use the grass-fed butter. Finally, we have our eggs. So in this recipe, right, in a regular Toll House recipe, we would be looking at something like 2 eggs. For this, Tommy is not eating eggs right now. We're taking about a 6-month break from eggs and almonds, which is totally fine because we are using our egg substitute, which is, you could do flaxseed or chia seeds. In this jar, I have a combination of both of them because I find it brings out a really nice texture to baked goods, and I store these in the refrigerator. It stays much longer. And I combine these with some water. So it's generally, I think, maybe 5 tablespoons or so to 1 tablespoon of the flax chia mixture. That would equal 1 egg, right? So that is here, and you'll see it's kind of sitting around. I might add a little more water to this, and so this is gonna be our eggs for this recipe. Okay, so here we go. We're starting to beat the butter, and Tommy, if you wanna put the coconut sugar in, good job. Nice work.
It's okay.
Yep, that's okay. And that's gonna blend for a little bit.
I did.
Okay, mister, now time for the egg. You wanna put your egg in?
Mommy,
You what?
you're not supposed to put eggs in.
Well, no, but it's just pretend egg. Remember? It's just pretend egg.
Okay.
Okay. Good thinking, though.
But I can't eat it.
No, well, you can't eat it if it were eggs, but you can eat this. All right, so that's gonna go in there.
I can lick the rest.
And this part, Mommy's gonna help a little bit. So we're gonna put our dry ingredients in, right? And gonna get to the cookie consistency, and then we're gonna fold in all of our fun add-ons. Okay, should we add just chocolate chips?
Mommy, I'm allergic to almonds.
Yes, you are allergic to almonds, and I'm
allergic to nuts.
Yeah, well, no, just almonds. Now, the last step is we put our add-ons in. Remember, everything you eat should be functional to the body in some way, including your desserts. So all of these here are superfoods. Obviously, this is a chocolate chip cookie. Love this brand. It's got a really nice sweetness, but it's not overkill. We add about maybe a little less than a cup of whatever add-in we're gonna do, or a combination of a few. The kids really like dried cherries. You only need a few of these. Things like shredded coconut, and then of course any nut. This is just some pecans you can chop up. You could do walnuts, you could do raisins, you could do any of these. Hey, your favorite part. Tommy gets that, and I guess they're yummy, huh?
Look at that.
Yeah, that's our batter. And then we're gonna drop these into our cookie sheet and bake them probably 13, 14 minutes or so at 350 degrees.
Cookie too. I have a cookie. Is the cookie hot? Is the cookie hot, Chloe? We're eating.